Yeah, I'm gonna just get started because I know a lot of people in Judah's room, and I ain't trying to pull him out while he's bringing all that out. So I'm gonna just get it started. Hop back in. All right. Song of Songs, chapter 1. The song that excels all songs dedicated to Elohim, him who peace belongs. Communicate your innermost wisdom to me again in love and closeness, for your love is dearer to me than all earthly delights. Like the scent of goodly oils is the spreading fame of your great deeds. Your very name is flowing oil. Therefore have nations loved you. Upon perceiving a mere hint that you wish to draw me near, we rushed with perfect faith after you into the wilderness. The king brought me into his cloud pillar chamber. Whatever our travail, we shall always be glad and rejoice in your Torah. We recall your love more than earthly delights. Unrestrainedly do they love you. Though I am black with sin, I am comely with virtue. O nations destined to ascend to Jerusalem, though sullied as the tents of Kedar, I will be immaculate as the draperies of him to whom peace belongs. Do not view me with contempt, despite my swarthiness, for it is but the sun which has glared upon me. The alien children of my mother incited me, and made me a keeper of the vineyards of idols. But the vineyard of my own true Elohim I did not keep. Tell me, O you whom my soul loves, where will you graze your flock? Where will you rest them under the fiercest sun of harshest exile? Why shall I be like one veiled in mourning among the flocks of your fellow shepherds? If you know not where to graze, O fairest of nations, follow the footsteps of the sheep, your forefathers who traced a straight, unswerving path after my Torah. Then you can graze your tender kids among the dwelling of foreign shepherds. With my mighty steeds, who battled Pharaoh's riders, I reveal that you are my beloved. Your cheeks are lovely with rows of gems, your neck with necklaces. My gifts to you from the splitting sea, by inducing pharaohs who engage in pursuit, to add circlets of gold to your spangles of silver. Where my tea at? While the king was yet at Sinai, my malodorous deed gave forth its scent as my golden calf defiled the covenant. But my beloved responded with a bundle of myrrh, the fragrant atonement of erecting a tabernacle where his presence would dwell between the holy ark's staves. Like a cluster of henna in Engedi vineyards, like a cluster of henna in Engedi vineyards has my beloved multiplied his forgiveness to me. He said, I forgive you, my friend, for you are lovely indeed and lovely in resolve. The righteous among you are loyal as a dove. It is you who are lovely, my beloved. So pleasant that you pardon my sin, enabling our temple to make me ever fresh. The beams of our houses are cedar, our panels are cypress. I am but a rose of Sharon, even an ever fresh rose of the valleys. Yeah, I actually got that holy oil in my collection, that rose of Sharon. What was that shit called? Anyway, yeah, getting off track. Like the rose maintaining its beauty among the thorns, so is my faithful beloved among the nations. Like the fruitful, fragrant apple among the barren trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the gods. In his shade I delighted, and there I sat, and the fruit of his Torah was sweet to my palate. He brought me to the chamber of Torah delights, and clustered my encampments about him in love. I say to him, sustain me in exile with dainty cakes. Spread fragrant apples about me to comfort my dispersion. For bereft of your presence, I am sick with love. With memories of his love and support in the desert, of his left hand under my head, of his right hand enveloping me. I adjure you, O nations destined to ascend to Jerusalem. For if you violate your oath, you will become as defenseless as gazelles or hinds of the field. If you dare provoke Elohim to hate me or disturb his love for me while he still desires it. The voice of my beloved, behold, it came suddenly to redeem me, as if leaping over mountains. skipping over hills. In his swiftness, to redeem me, my beloved is like a gazelle or a young hart. I thought I would be forever alone, but behold, he was standing behind our wall, observing through the windows, peering through the lattices. When he redeemed me from Egypt, my beloved called out and said to me, Arise, my love, for my fair one, and go forth. For the winter of bondage has passed, the deluge of suffering is over and gone. The righteous blossoms are seen in the land, the time of your song has arrived, and the voice of your God is heard in the land. The fig tree has formed its first small figs, ready for ascent to the temple. The vines are in blossom, their fragrance declaring they are ready for libation. Arise, my beloved, my fair one, and go forth. At the sea, he said to me, my dove, trapped at the sea as if in the clefts of the rock, the concealment of the terrorists. Show me your prayerful gaze. Let me hear your supplicating voice, for your voice is sweet and your countenance comely. Then he told the sea, Seize for us the Egyptian foxes, even the small foxes who spoiled Yasharo's vineyards, while our vineyards had just begun to blossom. My beloved is mine. He fills all my needs, and I seek from him and none other. He grazes me in rows like bounty, until my sin blows his friendship away and sears me, like the midday sun, and his protection departs. My sin caused him to turn away. I say to him, My beloved, you became like a gazelle, or like a young hart on the distant mountains. And just to in case it went over anybody's head, this is a love letter from the nation of Israel to the Most High. They're calling. They're basically he's the groom, and the nation of Israel is the bride. Basically, chapter 3. As I lay on my bed in the night of my desert travail, I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I found him not, for he maintained his aloofness. I resolved to arise then and roam through the city, in the streets and squares, that through Moses I would seek him whom my soul loved. I sought him, but I found him not. They, Moses and Aaron, the watchmen patrolling the city, found me. You have seen him whom my soul loves. What has he said? Scarcely had I departed from them, when in the days of Joshua I found him whom my soul loves. I grasped him, determined that my deeds would never again cause me to lose hold of him, until I brought his presence to the tabernacle of my mother and to the chamber of one who conceived me. I adjure you, O nations destined to ascend to Jerusalem, for if you violate your oath, you will become as defenseless as gazelles or hinds of the field, if you dare provoke Elohim to hate me or disturb his love for me while he still desires it. You nations have asked, Who is this ascended from the wilderness? Its way secured and smooth by palm-like pillars of smoke, burning fragrant myrrh and frankincense of all the perfumer's powders. Behold, the resting place of him to whom peace belongs, with 60 myriads of Yasharos mighty encircling it, all of them gripping the sword of tradition, skilled in the battle of Torah, each with his sword ready at his side, lest he succumb in the nights of exile. A tabernacle for his presence has the king to whom peace belongs, made of the wood of Lebanon. Its pillars he made of silver. His resting place was gold. Its suspended curtain was purple wool. Its midst was decked with implements bespeaking love by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth and gaze, O daughters distinguished by loyalty to Elohim, upon the king to whom peace belongs, adorned with the crown his nation made for him. On the day his law was given and he became one with Yasharal. On the day his heart was gladdened by his tabernacle's consecration. Chapter 4. Behold, you are lovely, my beloved. Behold, you are lovely. Your very appearance radiates dove-like constancy. The most common sons within your encampments are as dearly beloved as the children of Jacob in the goat-like procession. descending the slopes of Mount Gilead. Accountable indeed are your mighty leaders like a well-numbered flock, come up from the washing, all of them unblemished with no miscarriage of action in them. Like the scarlet thread, guarantor of Rahab's safety, is the sincerity of your lips, and your word is unfeigned. As many as pomegranate seeds are the merits of your unworthiest within your modest veil. As stately as the Tower of David is the site of your Sanhedrin built, as a model to emulate, with 1,000 shields of Torah armor hung upon it. All the disciple-filled quivers of the mighty, Moses and Aaron, your two sustainers, are like two fawns, twins of the gazelle, who graze their sheep and rose like bounty. Until my sunny benevolence was withdrawn from Shiloh and the protective shadows were dispersed by your skin, I would go to Mount Moriah and out from the temple, O bride, with me from the temple until you return, then to contemplate the fruits of your faith from its earliest beginnings, from your first arrival at the summits of Senir and Hermon, the lands of mighty Sihon and Og, as impregnable as dens of lions and a mountain of lepers. You have captured my heart, my sister, O bride. You have captured my heart with but one of your virtues, with but one of the precepts that adorn you like beads of a necklace resplendent. How fair is your love in so many settings, my sister, O bride. So superior is your love to wine and your spreading fame to all perfumes. The sweetness of Torah drips from your lips, like honey and milk it lies under your tongue. Your very garments are scented with precepts like the scent of Lebanon. As chaste as a garden locked, my sister, O bride. A spring locked up, a fountain sealed. Your least gifted ones are a pomegranate orchid with luscious fruit, henna with nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with purified in a garden spring. A well of waters alive and flowing clean from Lebanon, awake from the north and come from the south. Like the winds, let my exiles return to my garden. Let their fragrant goodness flow in Jerusalem. Let but my beloved come to his garden and enjoy his precious people. Chapter 5. To your tabernacle dedication, my sister, O bride. I came as if to my garden. I gathered my myrrh with my spice from your princely incense. I accepted your unbidden as well as your bidden offerings to me. I drank your libations, pure as milk. Eat, my beloved priests. Drink and become Elohim intoxicated, O friends. I let my devotion slumber, but the Elohim of my heart was awake. A sound, my beloved knocks. See them Nazarites, man. We don't be intoxicated with wine. We're intoxicated with the Most High. He said, open your heart to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfection. Admit me and my head is filled with dew like memories of Abraham. Spurn me, and I bear collections of punishing rains in exile nights. And I responded, I have doffed my robe of devotion. How can I don it? I have washed my feet that trod your path. How can I soil them? In anger at my recalcitrance, my beloved sent forth his hand from the portal in wrath, and my intestines churned with longing for him. I arose to open for my beloved, and my hands dripped myrrh of repentant devotion to Torah and Elohim, and my fingers flowing with myrrh to remove the traces of my foolish rebuke from the handles of the lock. I opened for my beloved, but alas, my beloved had turned his back on my plea and was gone. My soul departed at his decree. I sought his closeness, but could not find it. I beseeched him, but he would not answer. They found me, the enemy watchmen patrolling the city. They struck me. They bloodied me, wreaking Elohim's revenge on me. They stripped my mantle of holiness from me, the angelic watchmen of the woe. I adjure you, O nations destined to ascend to Jerusalem, when you see my beloved on the future day of judgment, will you not tell him that I bore travails for love of him? What does your beloved Elohim excel all others that you suffer for his name, O fairest of nations? With what does your beloved Elohim excel all others that you dare to adjure us? My beloved is pure and purifies sin, and is ready with vengeance to punish betrayers, surrounded with myriad angels. His opening words were fine as gold. His crowns hold molds of statues, written in raven black flame. Well, that imagery crazy. Like the gaze of doves toward the coast, his eyes are fixed on the waters of Torah, bathing all things in clarity, established upon creation's fullness. Go that waters of Torah. Hold up. Waters of Torah. I had to take a screenshot. That's that real baptism. Bathing all things in clarity, established upon creation's fullness. Like a bed of spices are his words at Sinai, like towers of perfume. His comforting words from the tabernacle are roses dripping flowing with myrrh. The tablets, his handiwork, are desirable above even rolls of gold. They are studded with commandments, precious as gems. The Torah's innards are sparkling as ivory, intricately inlaid with precious stone. The Torah's columns are marble set in context of finest gold. Its contemplation flowers like Lebanon. It is sturdy as cedars. The words of his palate are sweet, and he is all delight. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O nations destined to ascend to Jerusalem. 6. Where has your beloved gone, O fairest among women? Where has your beloved turned to rejoin you? Let us seek him with you and build his temple with you. My beloved had descended to his temple garden, to his incense altar. Yet still he grazes my brethren remaining in gardens of exile to gather the roseate fragrance of the words of Torah. I alone am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He who grazes his sheep in rose-like pasture. Need a new Tanakh. My page is falling out and shit. That shit backwards. What the hell? Hold up. Let me fix this real quick. Alright. You are beautiful, my love, when your deeds are pleasing. As comely now as you once were in Jerusalem of old. Hosts of angels stand in awe of you. Turn your pleading eyes from me, lest I be tempted to bestow upon you holiness more than you can bear. But with all your flaws, your most common sons are as dearly beloved as the children of Jacob in the goat-like procession descending the slopes of Mount Gilead. Your mighty leaders are perfect, as a flock of ewes come up from the washing. All of them unblemished with no miscarriage of action in them, as many as pomegranate seeds. Hold on, I read this already. I'm tripping. My bad, y'all. I know I read that already. Or did I? Maybe it's just I think it's just reiterating something. Could have swore I read that already. Oh wait, I think it's just repeating something that I already read. As many as pomegranate seeds are the merits of your own worthiest within your modest veil. The queenly offspring of Abraham are 60, compared to whom the 80 Noachides and all their countless nations are like mere concubines. Unique is she, my constant dove, my perfect one. Unique is she, this nation striving for the truth. Pure is she to Jacob who begot her. Nations saw her and they extolled her. Queens and concubines, they praised her. Who is this that gazes down from atop the temple mount, brightening like the dawn, beautiful as the moon, brilliant as the sun, awesome as the banner host of kings? I descended upon the deceptively simple holiness of the second temple to see your moisture-laden deeds in the riverbeds, to see whether your Torah scholars have budded on the vine, whether your merit-laden righteous have flowered like the pomegranates filled with seeds. Alas, I knew not how to guard myself from sin. My own devices harnessed me, like chariots subject to a foreign nation's mercies. The nations had said to me, turn away from Elohim, O nation whose faith in him is perfect. Turn away, and we shall choose nobility from you. But I replied to them, what can you bestow upon a nation of perfect faith, commensurate even with the desert camps encircling? But your footsteps were so lovely when shod in pilgrim sandals, O daughter of nobles. Your twin sustainers, the tablets of the law, are like two fawns, twins of the gazelle. Your altar and temple, erect and stately as an ivory tower. Your wise men afloat, the springs of complex wisdom at the gate of the many people's city. Your face, like the tower of Lebanon, looks to your future boundary as far as Damascus. The Elohim, the godly name on your head, is as mighty as Carmel. Your crown and braid is royal purple. Your king is bound in Nazaritic tresses. How beautiful and pleasant are you, befitting the pleasures of spiritual love. Such is your stature, likened to a towering palm tree. From your teachers flow sustenance like wine-filled clusters. I boast on high that your deeds cause me to ascend on your mountain tree, on your palm tree. I grasp onto your branches. I beg now your teachers that they may remain like clusters of grapes from which flows strength to your weakest ones, and the fragrance of your countenance like apples, and may your utterance be like finest wine. I shall heed your plea to uphold my faith before the beloved, my beloved in love, so upright and honest that my slumbering fathers will move their lips in approval. I am my beloved's, and he longs for my perfection. Come, my beloved, let us go to the fields where your children serve you in want. Let us lodge with Esau's children who are blessed with plenty yet still deny. Let us wake at dawn in vineyards of prayer and study. Let us see if students of writ have budded, if students of oral law have blossomed, if ripened scholars have bloomed. There I will display my finest products to you. All my baskets, good and bad, emit a fragrance. All at our doors had the precious fruits of comely deeds, both the scribes' new ordinances and the Torah's timeless wisdom. For you, my beloved, has my heart stored them. Chapter 8. If only, despite my wrongs, you could comfort me as Joseph did, like a brother nurtured at my mother's breast. If in the streets I found your prophets, I would kiss you and embrace you through them, nor could anyone despise me for it. I would lead you. I would bring you to my mother's temple for you to teach me as you did in Moses' tent. To drink, I will give you spiced libations, wines like pomegranate nectar. Despite my laments and exile, his left hand supports my head and his right hand embraces me in support. I adjure you, O nations who are destined to ascend to Jerusalem. If you dare provoke Elohim to hate me or disturb his love for me while he still desires it. How worthy she is ascending from the wilderness bearing Torah in his presence, clinging to her beloved. Under Sinai suspended above me, there I roused your love. There was your people born, a mother to other nations. There she endured the travail of her birth. For the sake of my love, place me like a seal on your heart, like a seal to dedicate your strength for me. for strong to the death is my love. Through their zeal for vengeance is hard as the grave. Though their zeal for vengeance is as hard as the grave, its flashes are flashes of fire, the flame of Elohim. Many waters of heathen tribulation cannot extinguish the fire of this love, nor rivers of royal seduction or torture watch it away. Were any man to offer all the treasure of his home to entice you away from your love, they would scorn him to extreme. Yasharal desires to cleave to us, the small and humble one, but her time of spiritual maturity has not come. What shall we do for our cleaving one on the day the nations plot against her? If her faith and belief are strong as a wall, withstanding incursions from without, we shall become her fortress and beauty, building her city and holy temple. But if she wavers like a door, succumbing to every alien knot, with fragile cedar panels, shall we then enclose her? My faith is firm as a wall, and my nursing synagogues as study halls are strong as towers. Then, having said so, I become in his eyes like a bride found perfect. Yasharal was the vineyard of him to whom peace belongs in populous Jerusalem. He gave his vineyard to harsh, cruel guardians. Each one came to extort his fruit, even 1,000 silver pieces. The vineyard is mine. Your iniquities are before me. The 1,000 silver pieces are yours, you to whom peace belongs, and 200 more to the sages who guarded the fruit of Torah from our designs. O my beloved, dwelling in far-flung gardens, your fellows, the angels, hearken to your voice of Torah and prayer. Let me hear it, and that they may sanctify me. Flee, my beloved, from our common exile, and be like a gazelle or a young hart in your swiftness to redeem and rest your presence among us on the fragrant Mount Moriah, site of your temple. Oh, I can't read worth shit right now. What the hell wrong with my voice right now? Y'all can tell I ain't got that same oomph at the moment. I've been off the last couple of days too though. But I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna be back on my get my power back. We in Ruth now. It's a short book. Or how long is this book? It's like 4 pages. I'll get done with this real fast. All right, the book of Ruth, chapter 1. And it happened in the days when the judges judged that there was a famine in the land, and a man went from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn in the fields of Moab, he, his wife, and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem and Judah. They came to the field of Moab, and there they remained. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the second Ruth, and they lived there about 10 years. The 2 of them, Mahlon and Chilion, also died, and the woman was left of her 2 children and of her husband. She then arose along her daughters-in-law to return from the fields of Moab, for she had heard in the fields of Moab that Yahweh had remembered his people by giving them food. She left the place where she had been, her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they set out on the road to return to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each of you to her mother's house. May Yahweh deal kindly with you as you have dealt kindly with the dead and with me. May Yahweh grant that you find security, each in the home of their husband. She kissed them and raised their voice. They raised their voice and wept. And they said to her, No, we will return with you to your people. But Naomi said, turn back, my daughters. Why should you come with me? Have I more sons in my womb who could become husbands to you? Turn back, my daughters, go, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I were to say, there is hope for me, and even if I were to have a husband tonight, and even bear sons, would you wait for them until they were grown up? Would you lie yourselves down for them, not to marry anyone else? No, my daughters, I am very embittered on account of you, for the hand of Yahweh has gone forth against me. They raised their voice and wept again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, look, your daughter-in-law has returned to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. But Ruth said, do not urge me to leave you, to turn back from following you. For where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people are my people, and your Elohim is my Elohim. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus may Yahweh do to me, so may he do me more. So may he do more, if anything but death separates me from you. When she saw that she was determined to go with her, she stopped arguing with her, and the two of them went on until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, when they arrived in Bethlehem, the entire city was tumultuous over them. And the women said, could this be Naomi? She said to them, do not call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I was full when I went away, but Yahweh has brought me back empty. Why shall you call me Naomi? Yahweh has testified against me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. And so Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, with her. Who returned from the fields of Moab. They came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Chapter 2. Naomi had a relative through her husband, a man of substance, from the family of Elimelech. His name was Boaz. Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, let me go out to the field and glean among the ears of grain behind someone in whose eyes I shall find favor. She said to her, go, my daughter. So she went. She came and gleaned in the field behind the harvesters, and her fate made her happen upon a parcel of land belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Behold, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem. He said to the harvesters, Yahweh be with you. And they answered him, may Yahweh bless you. Boaz then said to his servant who was overseeing the harvesters, to whom does that young woman belong? The servant who was overseeing the harvesters replied, she is a Moabite girl, the one who returned with Naomi from the fields of Moab. And she had said, please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters. So she came and has stood since the morning until now, except for her resting a little in the hut. I'm going to need to hire somebody to read for me. Then Boaz said to Ruth, hear me well, my daughter. Do not go to glean in another field and don't leave me here, but stay close to my maidens. Keep your eyes on the field which they are harvesting and follow after them. I have ordered my servants not to molest you. Should you become thirsty, go to the jugs and drink from that which the servants have drawn. Then she fell on her face, bowing down to the ground, and said to him, why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take special note of me, though I am a foreigner? Boaz replied and said to her, I have been fully informed of all that you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother in the land of your birth, and went to a people you had not known yesterday or earlier. May Yahweh reward your deed, and may your payment be full from Yahweh, the Elohim of Yasharal, under whose wings you have come to seek refuge. Then she said, may I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord, because you have comforted me, and because you have spoken to the heart of your maidservant, though I am not even as worthy as one of your maidservants. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, Come over here and partake of the bread and dip your morsel in the vinegar. So she sat beside the harvesters. He handed her parched grain, and she ate and was satisfied and had some left over. Then she got up to glean, and Boaz ordered his servant, saying, Let her glean even among the sheaves. Do not embarrass her, and even deliberately pull out some for her from the heaps, and leave them for her to glean. Don't rebuke her. Damn. So she gleaned in the field until evening, and she beat out what she had gleaned. It was about an ephah of barley. She carried it and came to the city. Her mother-in-law saw that she had what she had gleaned, and she took out and gave her what she had left over after eating her fill. Where did you glean today? Her mother-in-law asked her. Where did you work? May the one that took such generous notice of you be blessed. So she told her mother-in-law by whom she had worked and said, The name of the man by whom I work today is Boaz. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, Blessed is he to Yahweh, who has not failed in his kindness to the living or to the dead. Naomi then said to her, The man is closely related to us. He is one of our redeeming kinsmen. And Ruth the Moabite said, What's more, he even said to me, Stay close to my servants until they have finished all my harvest. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law Ruth, It is fine, my daughter, that you go out with his maidens, so that you will not be annoyed in another field. So she stayed close to Boaz's maidens to glean until the end of the barley harvest and the end of the wheat harvest. Then she stayed at home with her mother-in-law. Chapter 3. Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, My daughter, I must seek security for you, that it may go well with you. Now Boaz, our relative with whose maidens you have been, will be winnowing barley tonight on the threshing floor. Therefore bathe and anoint yourself, don your finery, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. And when he lies down, note the place where he lies, and go over, uncover his feet, and lie down. He will tell you what you are to do. And she replied, All that you say to me, I will do. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything as her mother-in-law instructed her. Boaz ate and drank, and his heart was merry. He went to lie down at the end of the grain pile, and she came stealthily, uncovered his feet, and lay down. In the middle of the night, the man was startled and turned about, and behold, there was a woman lying at his feet. He said, Who are you? And she answered, I am your handmaid, Ruth. Spread your robe over your handmaid, for you are a redeemer. She was trying to seduce on me. And he said, You are blessed of Yahweh, my daughter. You have made your latest act of kindness greater than the first, and that you have not gone after the younger men, be they poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. Whatever you say, I will do for you. For all the men in the gate of my people know that you are a worthy woman. Now, while it is true that I am a redeemer, there is also another redeemer closer than I. Stay the night, then in the morning, if he will redeem you, fine. Let him redeem. But if he does not want to redeem you, then I swear as Yahweh lives, I will redeem you. Lie down until the morning. So she lay at his feet until the morning, and she arose before one man who could recognize another. For he said, Let it not be known that the woman came to the threshing floor. And he said, Hold out the shawl that is upon you and grasp it. She held it and measured out 6 measures of barley and set it on her. Then he went to the city. She came to her mother-in-law, and who said, Who are you, my daughter? So she told her all the man had done for her. And she said, He gave me these 6 measures of barley for me, for he said to me, Do not go empty-handed to your mother-in-law. Then she said, Sit patiently, my daughter, until you know how the matter will turn out. For the man will not rest until he settles the matter today. Chapter 4. Boaz, meanwhile, had gone up to the gate and sat down there. Just then the Redeemer of whom Boaz had spoken passed by. He said, "Come over, sit down here, Ploni Almoni." And he came over and sat down. He then took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Sit here," and they sat down. Then he said to the Redeemer, "The parcel of land which belonged to our brother," damn, I can't talk, Elimelech, is being offered for sale by by Naomi, who has returned from the fields of Moab. I resolved that I should inform you to this effect. Buy it in the presence of those sitting here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you are willing to redeem, redeem. But if it will not be redeemed, tell me, that I may know. For there is no one else to redeem it but you, and I am after you. And he said, I am willing to redeem. Then Boaz said, the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth the Moabite, wife of the deceased, to perpetuate the name of the deceased on his inheritance. The Redeemer said, then I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I imperil my own inheritance. Take over my redemption responsibility on yourself, for I am unable to redeem. Formerly, this was done in Yasharal in cases of redemption and exchange transactions to validate any manner. One would draw off his shoe and give it to the other. This was the process of ratification in Yasharal. So when the Redeemer said to Boaz, buy it for yourself, he drew off his shoe. And Boaz said to the elders and to all the people, you are a witness this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Malon's from the hand of Naomi. And what is more, I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, the wife of Malon, as my wife, to perpetuate the name of the deceased on his inheritance, that the name of the deceased not be cut off from among his brethren and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses today. Then all the people who were at the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. May Yahweh make the woman who is coming into your house like Rachel and like Leah, both of whom built up the house of Yasharal. May you prosper in Ephrath and be famous in Bethlehem. And may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the offspring which Yahweh will give you by this young woman. And so Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife, and he came to her. Yahweh let her conceive, and she bore a son. And the woman said to Naomi, blessed is Yahweh, who has not left you without a redeemer today. May his name be famous in Yasharal. He will become your life restorer to sustain your old age, for your daughter-in-law, who loves you, has borne him, and she is better to you than 7 sons. Naomi took the child and held it in her bosom, and she became his nurse. The neighborhood women gave him a name, saying, a son is born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now these are the generations of Perez. Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram. Ram begot Aminadab. Aminadab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salma. And Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed, and Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. So David comes from Judah and Moab, basically, but that's the end of Ruth. I should have probably waited until my voice was straight before I read this. It's probably the worst reading I've done so far. Boy, I had no bass in my voice today. But I'll be back, y'all. We doing Lamentations next. All right, Shalom.